Hello students, myself Amrita Dhar, Assistant Professor of Electrical Engineering Department of Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management, JIS Group. I will teach you Power System 1. In this video, I will discuss about generalized constants of long transmission line. This topic is included in Module 5 Performance of Lines of the Subject Power System 1. Course code is PC-EE-502. Now we already derived the expression for sending end voltage and sending end current for long transmission line. Now from Vs is equals to Vr cos hyperbolic root over y into z plus Ir root over z by y sin hyperbolic root over y into z. Now comparing this with the equations Vs equals to A into Vr plus B into Ir, the value of A is cos hyperbolic root over yz, and B is equal to root over z by y sin hyperbolic root over y into z. And if we compare the equation Is equals to C into Vr plus D into Ir, with this equation Is equals to Vr root over y by z sin hyperbolic root over yz plus Ir into cos hyperbolic root over yz. So C is equals to this term root over y by z sin hyperbolic root over yz, and D is equals to cos hyperbolic root over yz. Now from here you can see that A equals to D equals to cos hyperbolic root over yz, cos hyperbolic root over yz. Now AD minus BC equals to cos hyperbolic root over yz into cos hyperbolic root over yz into minus root over zy root over z by y sin hyperbolic root over yz into root over y by z sin hyperbolic root over yz. Now on solving this equation we get AD minus BC equals to 1. So this all fulfill the properties of transmission line parameters, where AD equals to A equals to D and AD minus BC equals to 1. Now we have already derived the expression for A, B, C, D for short transmission line, medium transmission line and long transmission line. Now we solve the problems on ABCD parameter. First problem is a balanced three-phase load of 30 megawatt is supplied at 132 kV 50 Hz and 0.85 power factor lagging by means of a transmission line. The series impedance of a single conductor is 20 plus J52 ohm and the total phase neutral admittance is 315 into 10 to the power minus 6 Siemens. Using nominal T method, determine the A, B, C, D constants of the line, sending end voltage and regulation of the line. Now for nominal T method, the value of A and D is equals to 1 plus zy by 2 and B is equal to z into 1 plus zy by 4, C equals to y. Now it is given z equals to 20 plus j52 and y is equals to j315 into 10 to the power minus 6. These values are already given. Now put the values of z and y, and by solving it we get the value of A and D, which is equals to 0.992 plus 0.00315, and transfer it to polar coordinate we get a 0.992 angle 0.18 degree. Similarly, by putting the value of z and y we get the values for B, which is equal to 19.84 plus J51.82. equals to 55.5 angle 69 degree, and C is equal to admittance per phase, which is given in the question. So this is equal to 0.000315 90 degree angle. Next one is sending end voltage. Now what is VR? VR is given 132 line voltage. So first we convert 132 kV into volt. So we multiply it by 10 to the power cube and then divided it by root 3, because we have to determine the phase voltage, which is equals to 76210 volt. Now what is the formula of receiving end current? That is equal to power by root 3 VR into cos phi r. Now it is given the power is 30 megawatt. So first we convert it into watt, and kilovolt into volt, and cos phi r is 0.85. Now by putting the value of P VR cos phi r, we get the receiving end current, that is equal to 154 ampere. Power factor is given 0.85. So from this we can determine sin phi r 0.53. Now VR equals to VR plus J0, because we take VR as reference phasor, and IR is equal to IR cos phi r minus J sin phi r. Now put the value of IR cos phi r and sin phi r, we get the value of IR is 131 minus J 81.62. Now we already know this expression, Vs equals to A VR plus B IR. Now we already know the value of A, VR, B and IR. So we put the value of A, VR, B and IR, we get the final value of sending end voltage per phase, which is equals to 82,428 plus J 5,413. Now magnitude of the sending end voltage is root over 82,428 square plus 5,413 square, which is equal to 82.6 kilovolt. Now this is the phase voltage. We convert it into line voltage, so we multiply it by root 3. So the sending end line to line voltage is 82.6 into root 3, which is equal to 143 kV. Next, regulation. Now regulation is defined as the change in voltage at receiving end when full load is thrown off. So at no load IR is equals to 0, so Vs is equal to A VR 0. So VR 0 is the receiving end voltage at no load, and VR 0 equal to Vs by A. So Vs by A, we can put Vs by A minus VR by VR into 100. Now VR 0 is equal to Vs by A in magnitude, and receiving end voltage at no load minus receiving end voltage at full load by receiving end voltage at full load into 100 is our percentage regulation. So we put the value of Vs A VR, we get the percentage regulation is equal to 9.25%. Next problem is a 132 kV 50 Hz 3-phase transmission line delivers a load of 50 megawatt at 0.8 power factor lagging. At receiving end, the generalized constants of the line are A equals to D equals to 0.95 angle 1.4 degree, B is equals to 96 angle 78 degree, C is equal to 0.0015 angle 90 degree. Find the regulation of the line. Charging current, use the nominal T method. Now here A, B, C, D all are given and VR is also given. So we find out the phase value of the receiving end voltage, which is equals to 132 by root 3. Now convert 132 kV in volt, so we multiplied it by 10 cube. 132 into 10 cube by root 3, that is equal to 76210 volt, and IR is equals to P by root 3 VR cos phi r. Now put the value of P, VR and cos phi r, we get the value of receiving end current, which is equal to 273 ampere. Here power here the power is in megawatt, so we convert it into watt, and voltage is in kilowatt, and we convert into volt. Now cos phi r is equal to 0.8, so from this we can get the value of sin phi r, and VR we take VR as the reference phasor, so VR is equals to VR plus J0, which is equals to 76210 angle 0 degree, and IR is the IR angle minus phi r, so IR, the value of IR is 273 and angle is phi r is 36.9 degree. Now Vs is equal to A into Vr plus B into IR. We know all the values A, Vr, B, IR. So put the value of A, Vr, B, IR. We get the value of Vs, which is equal to 92,128 plus J 18,996. Now it convert it into the polar form. We get 94,066 angle 11.65 degree volt. Next, sending end current. This is this formula we already know. I is equals to CVR plus DIR. Now put the value of CVR, D and IR. We get the value of IS is equal to 211 minus J36. Now IS is equals to IS minus IR. Put the value of IS and IR. We get the final value, which is equal to 128.2 angle 93.1 degree ampere. And we just derived this expression of percentage regulation in our previous problem, and put the value of VS, A, VR. We get the value of percentage regulation is 30%. In the next problem, find the following for a single circuit transmission line delivering a load of 50 MVA at 110 kV and power factor 0.8 lagging. Sending end voltage, sending end current, sending end power, efficiency of transmission we have to calculate, and it is given the value of A and equals to D equals to 0.98 angle 3 degree, B is given 110 angle 75 degree ohm, and C is given 0.0005 angle 80 degree Siemens. Now VR is equal to 110 by root 3, which is equal to 63.5 kV, and as here the power is given in MVA rating, so we don't require to divide it by the power factor. Now when the power is given in kVA, VA or MVA rating, the current is equals to P by root 3 into VR. So P is 50 and we convert 50 MV, we convert it into VA and root 3, and we convert the voltage from kilovolt to volt, so we multiply it by 10 cube, 110 into 10 cube. So the final value of receiving end current is 262.4 ampere. And now taking the receiving end voltage as reference phasor, VR is equal to 63500 plus J0, and IR is equal to 262.4 angle minus cos inverse 0.8, and this gives the final value of IR 210 minus J 157.5 ampere. Now we know the value of A, VR, B and IR, so we can solve the expression for VS, and the final value of VS is 84,947 plus 21,086, which is equal to 87,427 angle 14 degree volt. So this is the magnitude of the sending end voltage, 87,427 volt. Next, sending end current is given by IS equals to C into VR plus D into IR. We know the value of C, VR, D and IR. So we can solve the value for IS, which is equal to 219 minus J 112, which is equal to 246 angle 27 degree ampere. So magnitude of the sending end current is 246 ampere. Now the expression for sending end power, which is equal to 3 into Vs into Is into cos phi s, and Vs is equal to 87,427 volt, Is is equal to 246 ampere, cos phi s is equal to minus cos minus 27 degree minus 14 degree. This is the value of phi s. So sending end power, put the value of Vs, Is and cos phi s, we get the sending end power 48.6 megawatt. Now receiving end power is equal to 50 into 0.8, which is equal to 40 megawatt. Now here as the power is given in MVA, so we have to multiply it by cos phi, so the power can be expressed in megawatt. And what is transmission efficiency? Output power by input power. Output power is 40 megawatt, input power is 48.6 megawatt into 100, which is equal to 82.3%. Next is the line compensation. You have an idea about Ferranti effect. Now line compensation is the main reason of Ferranti effect. In transmission lines, receiving end voltage and power factor are two very important aspects to be considered, and to keep voltage within tolerable limit and to improve power factor, transmission line compensation is done. Now modern transmission lines are regulated lines, which means that the sending end and receiving end voltage are maintained constant at all loads by using shunt capacitors and or shunt inductors or FACT device at appropriate intervals in a transmission line. This is called line compensation. Generally, compensation consists of injecting reactive power to improve power system operation. More specifically, to keep voltage close to nominal values, reduce line currents and hence network losses, and contribute to stability enhancement. Most often, compensation is provided by capacitors, counterbalancing the predominantly inductive nature of either the transmission system or the loads. Most of the loads in power system are inductive. It also may consist of reactors where reactive power absorption is of concern. Now line compensation is divided into series compensation and shunt compensation. First is series line compensation. Series compensation is basically insertion of power capacitor in series with transmission line in order to decrease the impedance of transmission lines carrying power over long distance. The capacitive reactive power is directly injected in series with the line inductive reactive power demand. Now, series compensation addresses a fundamental aspects of voltage stability, namely the electrical distance between generation and load center. In this respect, it is very efficient countermeasure to instability. It effectively reduces the line reactance and improves the steady state stability limit. Because of series capacitor, capacitive reactive power is directly injected into the line and voltage stability is also improved. Next one is the shunt compensation. The connection of shunt capacitor is probably the simplest and most widely used form of power factor compensation. The installation of shunt capacitors or reactors at load bars provides shunt compensation. Now, critical voltage of the system improves with shunt capacitor compensation. Also, with insertion of capacitance at load bus, the load side power factor increases. And at voltage stability limit, delta critical being given by pi by 4 minus theta by 2. The value of delta critical also improves with the application of shunt capacitor at load bus. As the load grows in the areas lacking generation, more and more shunt compensation is used to keep voltage in the normal operating range. By doing so, normal operating points progressively approach maximum deliverable power and a stressed condition, the scenarios could become a real threat. Similarly, in systems with large capacitive effect, shunt reactors must be connected under light load condition to avoid overvoltages. This is often the case in extra high voltage system where power transfer over long distances limited by stability consideration are below such impedance loading. Now this requires shunt reactors to absorb the excess reactive power generated to avoid Ferranti effect. That's all from today's class. If you have any problem, please contact with me. My contact details is given on the first slide. Thank you.